ready to go. Hello, happy campers. I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
And this is the show. Welcome aboard.
Well, very enthusiastic. This is the show. Welcome aboard.
It's been a long frickin' week, everybody. I'm now on my second nosebleed of the weekend where the weather changed. So, and everybody, of course, now has sinus infections. But, it happens. So anyway, what are we talking about?
You want to jump right into it?
Well, let's start talking about something I just found. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is doing their Turkey Day this year for 2020. We are recording this on October 17th, 2020, just for the record. So, with the record show where we started this. Turkey Day will be happening on Thanksgiving Day. 6 movies they're going to riff on. Classic movies.
Love it.
They currently have a riff-off. They're in combat right now. They have 12 movies. For those of you who don't know Mystery Science Theater 3000, there are 2 primary hosts of the old show. Jonah White, the guy from the Netflix series, doesn't count here. They're looking at Joel Robinson and Mike Nelson. And you're either Team Joel or Team Mike. They've each got 1 movie going up against each other. The first 3 roundups we've got here... Let me have a look. Ega versus Boggy Creek 2. And then they've got, Swamp Diamonds against Devilfish. And the last one for today is Tormented versus The Touch of Satan. So, just glorious cheese all around.
Now, of course, these are movies that you probably have never heard of. But that's what they do. They take movies that are really horrible, that nobody's ever seen, mostly,
and
or
talk all over.
Heard of.
Just like we do. We crap all over movies and stuff and make snide remarks, but they do it over the actual movie.
And they get paid well.
And they get, oh yes, they got paid well.
They got their own channel.
But, so yeah, that's going on. That's the thing. You can go to mst3k.org and find out all about it, or just go to the MST3K YouTube page. Go to YouTube, look for MST3K. Trust me, it'll be worth your time. If you've never seen it, you're in for probably about 300 hours of fun. So,
and if you want to know like what it is you're going to get into, and if it's your type of thing, they got stuff on Netflix. If you got Pluto TV, they have 2 channels all dedicated to them, where one they do movies and on the other they do commercials, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. They do a lot of short subjects and stuff. So
it's hilarious. You'll love it.
And they also, MST3K guys are also involved in what's called Puppet Camp. You'll be able to watch this on the MST3K YouTube page too. It's coming up. It's coming up in... Where is this coming up at? Anyway, it's October 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern is when this is coming out. Basically, you'll be able to see Puddles the Clown, Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House. You get to see TikTok sensation Toilet Tea Paper. You'll get to see Wayne White, the guy who did the puppets for... Pee-wee's Playhouse and Beauty is Embarrassing. And you'll also get to see some of the guys from MST3K live. They'll also be doing... Joel and his original 2 bots will be doing 2 new shorts that day. So, if you're a Mystery Science Theater fan, you got stuff to look forward to. Yay! So,
heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Just when 2020 is actually looking up.
Yeah. It's nice. But anyway. So, what have you got in the news-ish stuff?
The news. We should,
yes,
I had that backwards.
As usual, yeah.
So, so far in the news, Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot from Wonder Woman are teaming back together to do a Cleopatra movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't remember if we already talked about this or not. No. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah. So, if you like Wonder Woman, the director and the star is going to do a Cleopatra movie, which I'm all right with that. I can actually see Gal, do more acting.
Is there not a contingent online screaming at Gal Gadot because she's not Egyptian enough to be playing Cleopatra?
I don't even know. I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Apparently, then I'm finding
I think
things out
she's
for you.
like from Israel.
Oh, so it's
I don't know.
yeah. I think Gal Gadot is from Israel, so that just adds a little extra heat to it. But you know what the social justice warriors are like. You know how racist they are, and so they're saying if you're not of that character's race and stuff, then you should not be playing that character unless you're white, in which case your part should be given to somebody of any other race except white. So. And quite frankly, passing on all of that, another Cleopatra movie? No, thank you. Next. I don't care if Gal Gadot's in it. I don't care if Patty Jenkins in it. I don't care if Patty Mayonnaise is in it. I don't want to see no Cleopatra movie. But it ain't for me, obviously. I'm straight. There you go. Moving on. Moving on. What you got?
Alright, so NYPD. Ooh, we're going to get the hard stuff. Oh yeah, NYPD is offering $2,500 for anyone that can contact them and tell them who the guy it is that punched Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis is worth more than $2,500.
Yeah, true. But they're on a rampage, just like the police department does not like this, and they're after this.
Nobody online likes this. I'm surprised nobody on 4chan or one of these other groups has tracked him down yet. And honestly, if it's Rick Moranis, it shouldn't be $2,500. Don't go for an even amount. It needs to be like $2,413.13. It needs to be something like that.
Well, remember, people are defunding the police, so they can afford whatever they can afford.
They'll refund the police to keep us beaten up on.
I just thought that was pretty funny to tell you.
Yeah, anyway.
But anyway, yes. Speaking of money.
Stop beating up Rick Moranis.
Yes.
Anyway.
Stop that. Stop it.
Speaking of money.
Speaking of money. Amazon has decided to buy a certain movie for a lot of money. For actually $125 million they paid for Coming to America 2.
I hope Eddie paid a lot of bills that way.
The thing is that Coming to America 2 was already finished and was supposed to hit theaters, I think, this year, but then it was pushed back for like 2 years, I think, and Amazon was like, we can't wait that long. So they decided to buy the movie, and they was like, you know what, yes. So they bought the movie for $125 million, and you can see Eddie Murphy in all of his glory in Coming to America 2 on December 18th on Amazon. There you go.
I've got two things to say. We'll go ahead and we'll say the studio thing first. There is a setup happening for Christmas, y'all. The Disney Plus is going to unleash Soul right around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Disney Plus will also have the last episode of season 2 of the Baby Yoda show coming out right around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Amazon is going to be putting Coming to America 2 right around Christmas time. Netflix, God knows what Netflix is doing. Netflix has a bunch of stuff. Apparently they've got some animation projects coming out.
Oh yeah, Over the Moon.
Yeah, Over the Moon is
Which
supposed to be out around Christmas, I think. And Hulu's supposed to have something going on for Christmas. I can't remember what it was. But so you got a bunch of stuff coming around Christmas. They're wanting people to buy the streaming subscriptions for Christmas. So that way the people can watch the movies and stuff. That's one. So, yay. Okay on that. Second, Coming to America, the first one, way back in the 80s. The reason it took 35 years to make a second one is because they had to fight. There was a huge knockdown, drag out legal fight between Eddie Murphy's production company and Art Buchenwald. Art Buchwald was a satirist who worked for the Washington Post. He wrote a satire about an African prince coming to America looking for a queen. He goes to Queens to look for a queen. And he just, and basically it just comes into this big long article. Whether Eddie Murphy actually directly ripped him off or not for that, I doubt he directly ripped him off, but may have been, quote, inspired. Either way, Art Buchwald's estate, the guy, though he's an old dead white guy now, Art Buchwald's estate now pretty much basically kicked everybody's butt on that copyright issue. So they made a nice little penny off of Eddie, and particularly off Paramount for greenlighting it. I think it was Paramount. So that's why it took this long to get a second movie out of it, because odds are the Art Buchwald estate has been paid off to shut up and go away. And if anybody can afford to pay them off to shut up and go away, it'll be Amazon. So that's probably why they're paying $125 million for it. And knowing the way Coming to America 1 was filmed, they probably would have made a decent, tidy little profit off $125 million. It's not going to be gangbusters. They're not making hundreds of millions like Eddie was probably hoping they would, but hey, at least they're making something.
I think that this is going to be one of those that is going to surprise people and be like, holy cow, this was I mean, the first one was really good. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
It's
and this
McDowell's. They have the golden arches. We have the golden arcs.
This one is going to have like a bunch of A-list African American comedians that is going to be making an appearance in this movie. Wesley Snipes is already in it. I don't know how he got in it, but he's already in it. But you're going to get to see Arsenio Hall again. Maybe James Earl Jones will reprise his role as well. I think Dave Chappelle plays one of the barbershop characters in this one.
There has to be a Black Panther reference in here somewhere. To
there
Wakanda.
might be. Or
there has to be a reference to Wakanda in here somewhere.
Oh, they'll be talking about that in the barbershop.
There's got to be a reference in there somewhere in the barbershop somewhere.
So,
anyway.
Yeah, I'm up till the end. On board.
We'll see. I don't know whether it's worth paying for a month of Amazon Prime or not, but Amazon Prime is like $11.99 a month.
I already got it.
Would Coming to America 2 be worth it? Worth $12 for a month of Prime? Maybe.
Well, let me tell you this. It's good that you can actually pay $11 for that instead of paying $30-some-odd for Mulan, or if they decide to take Black Widow and put it on Disney Plus, you'll probably have to pay another $30 for that. So let's see, 11 something, $30.
Now, even before the beer bug hit, there are a bunch of studios who are already rattling their sabers that they were going to go same date release. They'd be going to theaters, they'd be going online same day, but if you wanted to watch it at home, you'd have to pay like $30 or $40 like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that went over like a lead bed sheet, because absolutely the consumers were ticked off that it cost so much. The theaters were ticked off that the studios were portraying them. But now we've pretty much seen what the studios think of the theaters, because that's another thing that's come down this past couple of weeks. Because Disney has already pretty much told the theaters to go blow themselves when it comes to... Because the theaters, there's a movement going on. You can see it on YouTube if you look around. It's called SOS, Save Our Stages. The idea is to help movie theaters, live theaters, musical theaters and stuff survive this garbage that's going on, because guess where most of the live stages are in America? They're in California and New York, which is being run by the two biggest idiots in the country. But hey.
And
go ahead.
Go.
No, I was going to say, Disney's already told the theater owners to go pound sand. this past week, Universal and Warner Brothers piled on and said, we can't give you any money to help you survive this stuff because we're gasping on fumes ourselves. But all three studios have basically said there will be no new releases probably until the spring, which honestly, if these guys aren't careful, is probably going to kill not just the movie business, but probably kill off one or two of these studios that think they're above the cash flow. Cash flow is king, guys. Disney had to learn that lesson the hard way. They had all that cash set aside from the past couple of years because of the Marvel Universe. But it's amazing how quickly that cash flow dries up when you've been spending it all on hookers and blow. So
you can look up the statistics, and right now Disney is actually really, really in trouble, and they're trying to go through things a different way. Which, by the way, if you want to go to Disney World, you can actually get really cheap tickets right now. So it's actually the best time to go.
Considering they've laid off roughly half their staff.
Yeah, so it's definitely, Disney is big trouble. And here's the thing, the theaters that has decided, well, not just Disney, but what was the other one? AMC?
Universal and Warner. Well, Cineworld, who owns Regal Cinemas.
Yeah. So they're the ones that is actually going to be in trouble if they do this, because as soon as everything opens back up, all the other studios are definitely going to rush their movies. Like a lot of movies that has been pushed back until next year is going to be pushed back forward.
Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of these people are acting as if you push it back into the spring of next year, then you won't get to see it till spring of next year.
No.
They were able to push it back at the drop of a hat. They can move it forward at the drop of a hat. Trust me, these films have largely finished production and post-production.
Yeah.
They're just sitting around gathering dust. And the worst part is nobody's talking about them outside of the echo chamber on YouTube, Facebook and stuff. Nobody's talking about them because what's Black Widow? Okay, I remember Black Widow from the Avengers, but that was like 40 years ago, right? So, and it's just one of those things where you keep pushing it off. Eventually, people are going to find other things to do.
Yeah,
I mean, for that matter, ask Microsoft and their Xbox and Sony and their PlayStation what happened when they started making their games impossible to play, and people started switching to playing on their cell phones. Ooh, that hurt. So anyway, it can happen here, Hollywood. Watch out.
I mean, as soon as everything opens back up, you will definitely see a lot of movies being moved forward now, because if not, next year you won't just have small movies, but big, huge blockbuster films, and it's going to be to the point where every weekend there's going to be a big movie that is going to be coming out, and they do not want to compete with that whole thing because then they'll lose money.
Well, they also don't want to fatigue the audience either, because if you got blockbusters week after week after week after week,
Yeah.
people are eventually going to get burnt out. I mean, you can only have your mind blown so many times before it's blown out.
Yeah.
So
Now, if Hollywood really wants to, the smart play here, it's a smart play if they do it. If they really want to save their business, what they need to do is open up all the drive-ins, and then start showing their movies.
there's a problem with that. It's getting cold, one, and so it's getting harder and harder to do that. Two, most of the drive-ins have been paved over and turned into parking lots by now. And three, and this is something that probably a lot of people aren't thinking about. The idea that the drive-ins are going to be able to actually pack all these people in. There's a difference between a drive-in and a walk-in theater, okay? For one, a drive-in, you've got people sitting in a car, but a car requires so much space, okay? Right. You can pack a lot more people into a movie theater than you can in a drive-in theater, and having all these cars in a drive-in, you can only get so many cars in. So you can only get so many people in, and if you're only getting 2 people to a car, which is what the average is, then you can only get so much revenue that way. And then,
But what I was saying, instead of just being open on the weekends, throughout the whole week.
well, the other problem too is, well, people don't really work a 9-to-5 schedule anymore, so maybe that does work.
Exactly.
But the other thing too is the movie. This is what's going to keep things screwed up for a while longer. Okay, as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, there's only 2 markets in America. There's New York and there's L.A. Okay, unless New York and L.A. unfreeze, they both have to unfreeze at the same time, or they're going to think they'll lose money on this. The only way they make money is because New York and L.A. is open. If they're closed, then they couldn't make a dime on these things. Hollywood is convinced of this. It doesn't matter how many other people in the other 48 states are begging them to reopen things, to loosen up and get back to the real normal, not the new normal they keep talking about. Hollywood will never ever do it as long as New York and California are shut down. So,
and right now, the only as far as I know of, the only theaters that are not open is California and San Francisco. Still keeping a tight lid on that. But before we end this conversation on that, we should support our local theater itself. Downtown 10th Frame Cinema. They are doing a thing right now where it's like you can invite like 20 people. You will have the theater to your entire self for $100. So it's like you can bring your friends, family, and it will be all yours. You can choose what movie you want to see and everything. Just go to 10th Frame Cinema and there you go. So,
and you're kind of limited in what movies you get to see, but at least you get to see a movie.
yeah, I mean, if you want to wait and see what kind of older movie that they're going to have, then that would be the best way to go. Like right now they're showing Hocus Pocus, so you and your family can go and watch Hocus Pocus, have the whole theater just to yourselves for $100.
Well, they're also showing Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas.
So if you're in Tim Burton, there's a thing. So what else you got?
What else do I got?
Wait,
well,
before we move on, didn't you also say the Judy Drive-In was open this weekend too?
They were showing, I can't remember, I saw it and it was interesting, but they were showing a couple of movies. I just can't remember what the heck it was.
Yeah, let's see if I can find out, shall we? Let's see. JudyDriveIn.com, by the way, is the way you need to go. They were showing
The same thing?
showing the same thing. Friday and Saturday they were showing Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas in double feature.
Well, maybe I saw what was playing last weekend. I don't know.
Maybe.
I can't remember what it was, but it was like, oh, nice. So, either which way, choose your poison. Support your local theaters and drive-ins, because, I mean, come on, without art and a way to escape, we don't want to lose these. We already lost video stores already.
Although I honestly think they'll be coming back eventually.
Oh, I hope so.
People are so.
I hope so.
People are getting so tired of the streaming guys because, and I could have sworn somebody predicted this a year and a half ago when we started this, that everybody was going to get their own streaming service and they're going to play whack-a-noodle with the streaming rights. How many Warner Brothers movies are showing on other people's streaming things and not on HBO Max? A good number of them. But they keep jumping around, so if you got a movie you want to see, you actually have to go to JustWatch.com or one of these other services. I actually have the Just Watch app just so I can figure out where these things are at.
Yeah.
And even they don't have the answer most of the time. Good luck finding remember when. Anyway. Anyway, what were you going to... Let's move on. What were you going to say?
I got some Static Shock news. Some DC news for you. Some DC new superhero movie news. Yes. So, in case you don't know about Static Shock is about... is it Chicago? Brooklyn?
Dakota.
Dakota?
Dakota is the name of the place, yes.
Oh, well, anyway. a city kid who has powers of electro stuff. Anyway.
He's Electro, but he's not played by Jamie Foxx.
No.
And he's a good guy. So.
But apparently they landed a new producer, somebody, a very good actor himself, Michael B. Jordan.
He was the one who played Killmonger.
He played Killmonger. He was in Creed. I think his last movie that came out was Just Mercy or something. He's a really good actor. And he is getting into the whole behind the scenes and filmmaking stuff. So he's producing the new Static Shock film. So
let's see. Do they have an actor lined up to play Virgil Hawkins yet?
I have not heard nothing yet. They've been keeping it secret. Like, we just heard about this not too long ago. Remember when we was talking about Motown and stuff like that? That they was just like, oh, there's a movie already being made and a TV series.
The fun part is the hero's name is Static, okay? Because he was created for comic books back in 1993. Dwayne McDuffie created them. You know Dwayne McDuffie from writing a bunch of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series. He was the creator of, one of the chief creators of the Milestone universe, so he created like Static and Icon, and he did a bunch of stuff for Marvel too along the way. The thing is, Static was the breakout property for the Milestone line. Out of all the books, they had like 7 or 8 books. Milestone. Not Motown.
Motown
is,
I'm sorry.
Motown is the black music label
Yeah,
out
I
of
know.
Detroit.
I don't know
That's
why
very
I said
Gordy's
Motown.
joint.
I'm stupid.
Anyway.
God.
Static was the breakout. Static was the one who got the Kids WB cartoon.
Yes.
Okay? And when it started, they called it Static. A lot of people have forgotten about this. First 2 weeks it was called Static. And they were getting 0 ratings on Kids WB for Static. And they're trying to figure out why, and they finally realized people are still using TV guides at the time. They look at the TV guides, they see on WB Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock, Static. That must be off the air or something. Then on week 3 they changed the name to Static Shock, and then all of a sudden they started getting ratings. So it was, that's why it's called Static Shock, because they couldn't list it in the TV guide as Static or nobody would watch. So that's, to this day, it's known as Static Shock. You can't refer to the show as Static, but you can still refer to the character as Static. Thank goodness for that.
I need to go back and rewatch those shows. I forgot most of it.
They're fun for the most part.
I remember liking them when I was a kid, but that's when
that's when they had Men in Black, the series.
Yeah, so I was like,
those Kids WB was throwing down. They were showing like Freakazoid and Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, and that was the whole thing about the WB. They were the animation thing before Fox started.
What about the nerd out on here? Have you seen the new trailer for the Animaniacs?
I haven't seen it yet.
They're doing a whole Jurassic Park thing where Steven Spielberg plays the old guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking, and they're looking at a dinosaur. Instead of looking at a dinosaur, they're seeing the maniacs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna bring them back." I mean, it took I don't know how many years for Pinky and the Brain, and the blonde chick is like, because in the movie she's like, "You breed raptors," and she's like, "You got Pinky and a Brain?" He's like, "Yeah." So it's funny. It's great.
That was a show that died long before its time. It came to be long before its time, and it died long before its time. Pinky and the Brain. Skip the ones with Elmira, please. Go to Hulu. Check out all the episodes of Pinky and the Brain. You will not be disappointed.
And they're making a comeback. So
they're making a comeback. The best part is there's a line in the intro song. One is a genius, the other's insane, but they never refer to which is which. So if you go into it straight and then watch the second time reversing the roles, and all of a sudden it just takes on whole new layers of meaning. Anyway, what else you got?
Alright. Oh, good Lord. I don't know why we got it. We go from that to this now. Joe Biden
Yeah, I could. There's a segue there between one insane and Joe Biden. The brain.
So Joe Biden is trying to connect to the younger.
That's who Joe Biden and Kamala Harris remind me of. Pinky and the Brain. Crap. Narf. You almost see Kamala Harris go Narf. No, actually, I take that back. Joe Biden would say Narf. Kamala Harris thinks she has this brilliant scheme. Like Baldrick.
Anyway, he's trying
I had
to
this brilliant scheme. Anyway,
connect to the young voters out there by creating his own Animal Crossing island. So you can go to Animal Crossing, visit his island, and ask him questions.
Absolutely nothing the Democrats have done this year is more Democrat than Joe Biden having his own Animal Crossing island for this reason, and this reason mainly. It is extremely exclusive. You have to have a particular set of hardware, a particular set of software. You have to pay through the eye teeth for the privilege of getting these things and you have to actually seek it out in order to get any answers to any questions you might have. That is as Democrat 2020 as you can get, Joe Biden. And your Animal
really
Crossing.
I read this. I was
and
like,
Kamala
really?
the Brain Harris. Narf.
So in other news
And the best part is, it's still not American sourced. Nintendo is based in Japan. You frickin' Joe Biden, you frickin' idiot. You still can't get any American. Never mind. Go ahead. Joe probably thinks Nintendo's in Beijing. That's why he's doing it, because he thought Nintendo, Japan, China, they all kind of roll together because they all get them. Yeah. That's what Joe Biden thinks, and he's just, you do those Beijing things again, Hunter.
Think he's having a stroke.
Yeah.
That's a really good impression of Bill Cosby.
Here's a really good impression of Andrew Dice Clay. Go ahead.
Alright, so moving on. Disney Plus. I know.
Go ahead.
Is now going to be putting a disclaimer in front of their movies that may have some things that will probably upset some people. Yeah.
Trigger warnings.
So from now on, if you go to Disney Plus,
come on, give me some trigger warnings.
Oh, wait.
Tell me.
The last bit will probably give you a trigger warning.
Tell me.
So in front of movies like Dumbo, Peter Pan, Swiss Family Robinson, Aristocats, which I really don't know what's in Aristocats. That is, I don't remember anything in that.
There's an old joke. In comedy, comedians tell this old joke, okay? And this is supposed to be the test of a comedian.
Oh boy.
And it basically goes like this. This married couple, mother and father, come in, they bring their kids, and they walk into a talent agency. And they say, we want to try out, we want you to represent our act. And the talent agent says, okay, well, show me your act. Now, you can tell how good the comedian's going to be based on how he gets you from the point where the talent agent says, show me your act. From that point, the comedian can go anywhere he wants. The mom, the dad, the kids, they can have animals, anything they want. Explosives can be involved. All kinds of lubricant is usually used at some point. Make it as disgusting, as fetid, as ugly, as nasty as you possibly can. And at the very end of it, you put it together and the talent agent says, my God, man, what in the world would you call that act? The Aristocrats. That is the test for comedy right there. How nasty can you, how if you can actually make your audience vomit while you're doing it right.
Well, guess what? I got more.
Yay!
So
Apparently, trigger warnings.
Apparently, this will this disclaimer: you cannot skip over it. You have to literally watch it. But
because that always works out so well.
But
for
Disney
these guys.
decided to brand this idea, and guess what they are calling it? Are you ready for this?
Right here, baby. Lead with the chin. Come on, right here.
Story matters.
There you go. Story matters
Story
at Disney.
matters.
At Disney. 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 Story matters at Disney. Disney. The one with the rat, right? Disney. The one that thinks Doctor Who would make a good Uncle Scrooge. That Disney. The one that thinks pouring $120 million into the black hole, literally, that Disney.
Yep, that Disney.
Story matters.
I love
Disney.
That was like
Story matters at Disney.
That was like my favorite part because I was like, really, really, because it was in big letters. Story matters, and I'm like, really, you're going off of the Black Lives Matter thing to say story matters. Like,
you know what the best part is? I never made that connection because I'm too white. I never saw that coming. But you are just black enough. You saw that connection. So guess what? The people who are being triggered by the Disney stuff, the people who are so infantile and puerile, and they are so determined to be offended by what they see in the world so they can claim victimhood status for themselves, are going to see Story Matters and think they're making fun of Black Lives Matter. No, that's my job.
That's exactly what I got from that, because I saw that, and they put it in big bold letters when I read the article, and I was just like, because they literally brought out the fact that they are calling this Story Matters, and was like, why are you pointing this out if you didn't actually mean?
I'm going to check, make sure that this mic is picking things up. Okay, it's turned on. It's picking things up. Okay, now, shh. Listen, listen carefully. You hear that? That's my teeth grinding into powder right now. You know how hard it is to do it with
You know, I will have to say this, okay? I think that somebody hired some total dummies.
Douche nozzle, yes.
For Disney, because Disney is laying off all these people and came up with this bright idea.
You know what the best part is? Guaranteed they paid 7 or 8 fake digits for that Story Matters idea.
And I bet you this is also the same person that says, hey, let's redo live action versions of all the other old movies and put Mulan for $30 on Disney Plus, and later on put it out for digitally for anybody to get, and they don't even have to have Disney Plus to even watch it. I bet you it's the same person.
Disney, I'm going to put a challenge out to you. Okay, you're allowed to have Story Matters if you remake Song of the South. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
That's great.
It's either that or remake the Aristocrats. So, oh wait, Netflix did that. But anyway. Okay, this better be. We better be getting near to the end of it because
I got 2 more stories.
My heart's going boom, boom, boom.
I got 2 more stories. All right, so if you have not watched this Halloween movie called Hubie Halloween, which stars Adam Sandler on Netflix, which honestly I did watch it, and it's actually pretty funny. It is actually really good. I will admit it was one of those, I needed an escape from reality. I needed to watch something really stupid, and this was it. This was perfect. This was literally gave me what I wanted. I knew it was going to be stupid anyways. But anyway, if you have not seen Hubie Halloween on Netflix, go watch it. If you like Adam Sandler movies, it's perfect. But here's the story. In the movie, there is a news anchor. Her name is Alina Pintu. This woman who played a news reporter in the film is actually a news reporter in real life for Channel 7 News in Boston. And she was fired from her real job because she plays a news anchor in the movie.
I'm sorry, you said Adam Sandler. You put me into a coma there. Okay. Story time, boys and girls. Hold on a minute.
Story time.
Story time.
Oh, no.
You know Uncle Spike can sit here and throw all kinds of things. There has been a long, long history of journalists in Hollywood. Okay? And I'm not talking about people, Margot Kidder playing Lois Lane. I mean actual journalists appearing in Hollywood movies. Generally speaking, they try to avoid that. Now, a real-life journalist can get away with a cameo. Larry King could get away with a cameo, okay? Now, there are certain others. They could make a cameo if people would know who they are, like, oh shoot, who's the meteorologist on the Today Show, the weather guy? Can't think of his name.
Oh,
Al Roker.
Oh, yeah.
Al Roker can get away with it because Al Roker's a celebrity. People know who Al Roker is. So he could make a cameo here and there. He even has an alter ego. He goes by Evil Al Roker every once in a while. He'll show up somewhere. But anyway, the problem is the national news organizations, usually the networks, the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, the big guys, they typically don't let themselves be used in movies, in television, in any other media, because they don't want to be misrepresented elsewhere, okay? So when you see, for example, somebody's on screen, you're watching a news report in a movie, for example, it's not CNN, it's like NCN or VNN or something like that, TVNN, whatever. It'll even look like the logo, but it won't be CNN, because CNN does not want their brand being misrepresented in other places. That's their job. So, when you see, like you said, in this movie with He Who Shall Not Be Named, or you put me right back into the coma again, he's made this movie with an actual journalist in it who apparently has a sizable part in this movie.
No, not really.
She just makes a cameo in it?
Yeah, like I think 2 times.
Okay. She probably has an exclusivity contract with whatever channel she's with. She's with their news department. The reason they have an exclusivity clause is so you don't run around misrepresenting the station. The station, Channel 7, wherever, has a reputation in that town. They work apparently vigorously, try to protect their reputation. She's going out in an Adam Sandler movie, which pretty much instantly ruins all of her credibility as a journalist, because she was dumb enough to be in an Adam Sandler movie. Now all of a sudden Channel 7's like, holy, now we got this big stinking turd sitting here wanting to be on the nightly news, and she's dumb enough to be on an Adam Sandler movie, so what does that tell you about how much legitimacy our show would have when it comes to reporting the news? Bye, honey. Thanks for playing. Go play with Adam Sandler now. Good luck with that.
That's just redundant.
That's what Channel 7 is thinking right now. Whichever Channel 7.
I never knew that they had such a contract like that.
Oh, yes, buddy. And guess what? She probably didn't know that was in there. Or if she did, she was trying to violate her contract so she'd be kicked out because she thinks she's going to become a Hollywood star or something. It depends on how good she is in the sack with Adam Sandler. But I'll say...
Whoa.
They work for Kamala Harris. But anyway. Hello, Mr. Brown. Anyway.
Alright, so...
Can we move
Yes.
anywhere but this.
Last story, and I love this story
Yeah.
because I actually want to go and do this.
Oh, Lord.
Alright, so Japan has built a very large Godzilla.
Okay, I'm still with you. Go ahead.
Okay. They built a large Godzilla that is literally 75 feet, 82 feet wide, and 180 feet long.
Uh-huh.
It is a museum that will have like pictures, old movies, all that, old costumes and everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? So children under 12 can get in free. Older than 12 is like $20. If you pay $36,
Mm-hmm.
you can zip line from one mountain into Godzilla's mouth. And when you do, he actually glows purple. Or bluish purple.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome!
Damn it, Japanese have all the cool stuff.
That is awesome! You can literally zip line into his mouth. That's awesome! That's just great. That's why I had to talk to him about that.
There's actually a zip line at the Red River Gorge near the Natural Bridge where you can actually zip line from the bridge all the way down to the Red River Gorge and stuff. And it's a grand old time, I'm sure. But can you imagine if they had like a 12-story Godzilla up at Cave Run, or not Cave Run, or at Cave Run for that matter, or at Red River Gorge or something where you could just zip line straight from the...
Man, that'd be so awesome.
Straight from
I
his
would
place
love it.
down to that.
And it's only $36.
It was $36. I mean,
That's really
what are you going to do? Watch Mulan? Come on, now.
Let's see. Watch Mulan.
Zip
or
line
get
into
eaten
Godzilla's
by
mouth. I'll take Godzilla's mouth. There
Exactly.
you
That's
go.
just awesome. So yeah, and it lights up when you do. So it's like, so yeah.
That was something I was always upset about. Remember when everybody started wearing the T-Rex outfits? You would see all these online videos and stuff. People are in these big puffy T-Rex
I
outfits.
actually like those.
You couldn't actually use the arms or anything, so that you'd walk around like this, like 8 feet tall, just bumping into stuff. Why couldn't we get Godzilla outfits out of that? Just to walk around big puffy Godzilla outfits, about 8 feet tall,
goodness.
and just walk around and.
Or Reptar.
Reptar's a poor relation.
Oh, true.
Maybe for little kids, but just to run around like
Reptar.
Godzilla and make sure you have the little digital sound effects on the inside, so you can sit there and roar. You can make his whole fins
so
light
awesome.
up and stuff.
And then make another one King Kong, and then they would like battle.
Mm-hmm.
Make another one Mothra. I think we got some ideas for Halloween costumes for next year. We got to make them. I bet you they will sell.
Which one's the turtle? I forgot the turtles.
Shit.
Gamera. And the worst part is they've got 5 Gamera films at the SNC3K channel that you can watch, where they riff 5 different Gamera giant monster movies, which is awesome. Still can't see the one with Godzilla. And the worst part is you see on SNC3K they show a clip from one of the movies each season. You can tell which season it is by which clip they show. There's one that shows Godzilla flying across from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen on his tail with his legs straight in the air, and he's like this, and he's just scooting right along. And the beloved and I were sitting there. We saw that. We were back when we first started watching this, because we never got to see the Godzilla film. We were like, "What in the world is Godzilla doing?" We recognized it was Godzilla, but we didn't know what in the world. Why is he going across on his tail like that? Finally, had to track it down on YouTube. Managed to find it somewhere in violation to heaven knows how many copyright laws. And Godzilla was doing, of all things, he was doing a wrestling move.
Yeah.
He was wrestling with some kind of critter or something, and he was trying to do the little thing where you lift your legs and kick out somebody.
I think
It was a drop kick, is what it was.
I think that's the same one with his son.
Yes, that's the one with Godzuki.
And I think he also picks up a tree and does that whole, like, uses it as a bat or something too.
Yes.
But yeah, it's... You gotta love those old films. I'm sorry. They're so ridiculous but awesome at the same time. And you know what? We could totally still do that. If we got one of those old dinosaur uniforms and just like made it up to be a little bit more, you know, less real, and then just like get a fake, build like a fake Lego town or something like that. You could do another monster movie.
Or we could just take $300 out to 10th Frame and see if we can just get them to give us 3 Godzilla films.
Oh.
The original Godzilla and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. And
I was told that they don't have a power cord or something like that, and that's why if they had one to connect from one thing to the other, you can actually, they would probably let you bring your own movies to show on the big screen.
Not if Cinedigm owns them.
No, that's what they said.
You have to license the content.
That's what they said. They said
and
that
if they don't have an existing licensing agreement between Cinedigm and the theater and the studio regarding that film, they won't be able to do it. So just
darn you!
So,
they should do something if they want to make money. This is a good way to do it. Let them do stuff.
Or here's an idea: just spend a whole weekend just running nothing but Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies all weekend. Just take the 10 best and just start Saturday morning and just run them through Sunday night and see how many. And then people just walk in and out and stuff, and that'll piss Governor Andy Bashir off. Though no, we can't have that because Governor Andy he's a happy little camper, isn't he?
Oh, isn't he? But still, zip line into a Godzilla.
Zip lining into Godzilla's mouth.
That's just the greatest.
That's how I want to go out.
Yeah, me too. Be like, ah!
Not even a zip line. I'd be afraid of zip lines. I just want to fly into his mouth. Just put me in a trebuchet and just launch me right to his mouth.
Cannonball.
Just say, whee!
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Godzilla, take this!
I just thought that was a cool story to end on because I was like, I saw that and I was like, wait, what is this? and if you're curious about more of that, you can actually find videos on YouTube with the whole thing. So you can actually watch people, and he lights up, and then, like the spikes on his back lights up his eyes. I think
that's
too.
fun. But anyway,
it's great.
There's still hope for humanity.
It brought a smile to my face. It was like.
So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Any last thoughts, Chris, before we run down the road? Yeah,
peace.
Peace. Oh, peace.
Love.
Love.
Soul.
Yeah, I can dig so. So until next time, I'll see you all in Godzilla's mouth.
Yeah, hopefully.
Ta-ya.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole. Sweetheart.